Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got a short little knife review slash knife overview to show you guys. This is the Ameight Flix 2 in DLC M390. So I realized the reason this is going to be short today is because I've reviewed this knife. It was a while back, and I realized the one I reviewed was a satin version in S90V. This version is in M390, but this version is definitely worth picking up. It's really cool. I'm really glad that they're starting to do a satin DLC on their knives. I think that's long overdue. I think a lot of people really like having that option, and as per usual, these Ameight knives or Ameight knives are really amazing. Like, the price tags on these things are just outstanding. If you don't want to wait to the end of the video to hear that this is a good knife, I'll just tell you up front. I don't usually do reviews this way. This is a really good knife. Like, it's great. I'm going to make a couple of little suggestions, but they're dancing around essentially something really awesome. And if I know Ameight and Ameight, they will achieve it. So thanks so much to Ameight/Ameight for sending this in. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Real quick, just quick specs. Overall length on this guy, I think it's an 8 to 8 1/4 inch knife. 8 inches, blade length is 3 1/2. Cutting edge is just shy of 3 1/4. Few size comparisons. Any custom skills you find in this section can be found down in the description under Original Goat and Others, up against my own Excalibur and the AD10. It's not quite the same length, but is very, very similar. Very similar handle profile here, if not almost identical. These are handle lines that we see, or ergonomic lines that we see all over the knife industry. Very common because they work. It's the same reason that I chose this sort of setup for my own knife. It's very, very comfortable. So really cool. Let's go ahead and put it up against the Benchmade. No, let's do the Spyderco PM2 and Para 3 like we usually do. Spyderco PM2 and Para 3. This knife is much closer to the size of the PM2 and has very similar, cutting edge lines. Once again, you can see here the same ergonomic zones, very, very similar to the Spyderco PM2 with the choke up spot here and then the primary index finger position here. Spyderco definitely definitely one of the main companies that utilizes those specific ergonomic zones. We have another one here. I mean, since we're talking about it, the Vosteed Porcupine, very similar. Anyways, let's put it up against the Benchmade group cylinder, in this case the Ritter Hogue and the Hogue Deca. Okay, how's the action? They do a good job with this. Plenty of lock bar access, like ridiculous. This is so smooth. It's insane. In fact, make sure your fingers are out of the way. Honestly, if you get up here at the very top of the lock bar and disengage it, it falls perfectly into the unsharpened portion of the blade, the choil. So that's just exactly how you want to do that. The detent is honestly pretty heavy on this guy for it being a thumb hole opener and front flipper. The front flipper is perfection. This is exactly how front flippers should be designed. There's tons of jimping, tons of leverage, and the detent allows you to do it in a satisfying way, in a way that makes you not feel like you're going to launch it across the room or into someone's forehead or something. We obviously don't want that to happen. Pinch opening it. Got to fight that detent a little bit. Using the slot to thumb open it, pretty easy. Reverse flicking it, not very easy. I'd like to think that I've worked this finger out a lot. Like to feel like I can reverse things that are not, easy to reverse flick. This is not easy to reverse flick. I think what could have helped here is a little bit more room right here. And maybe, if we cut this down a little bit further and the hole was a little bit longer, because the further down the blade that the hole is that you engage with, the easier it is to overcome, a fussy detent, right? It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but if you absolutely love to reverse flick your knives and you don't have Hulk mode middle fingers, you might not absolutely love it, but there's still plenty of other ways to deploy it that are fine. The pivot action is wonderful, nice and smooth, not like buttered glass, right? But falls shut. It'll probably continue to break in over time, but really, really nice. So anyways, carry profile thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. It's not that thick. In fact, it's almost exactly the same, with some subtle contouring, length and height up against the PM2 and the Para 3. This is a very easy full-size knife to carry. It actually takes up quite a bit less room in your pocket than the PM2, and despite being a larger overall knife than the Para 3, it's really not that much bigger in the pocket. Pretty close. Let's go ahead and do a hardware check. I'll get out my tools. My tools are really inexpensive and very very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use in this channel. We have a T8 pivot. We have T8 for the overlay screws. We probably got some additional screws underneath here holding in the backspacer, no big deal. And we also have T8 for the pocket clip screws, which, by the way, are only on one side because there's only one mounting position, and that's right-handed. So bummer. Ameight and Migron, you guys need to be making mounting positions for lefties on all of your knives, not just select ones, but okay. So very easy to take apart and put back together as long as you have the right tools for the job. You'll be good to go. Let's go ahead and measure the blade stock thickness, which I'm going to guess is like 125 to 135. 120. So really not that thick at all. And we're going to weigh it. What are we looking at for materials? Contoured, kind of darkened battleship gray titanium. We have this really nice carbon fiber copper mascus, which looks really, really good with the right colors. And I think they got the right colors on this one. Honestly, it looks really good. So very cool. And then we have M390 that is satin DLC coated, which is very important. We'll come back to that. 4.2 ounces, no surprise there. That's fine. That's about what I expected it to weigh. And your balance is right behind the pivot in the middle of that forward choil position. So the Flix 2 is a very ergonomic and very classic, like it's a modern tactical knife, right? Like that word gets thrown around a lot, but this is in the style of modern tactical, right? Not gas station tactical. I mean, like created by people who know what they're doing with nice materials, right? This is a Chinese-made product. Migron and Ameight have excellent fit and finish, considering their price points. So the blade, they're having the HRC listed for their M390 still as 59 to 61. That is almost certainly so that the low end, accommodates for the DLC blades, which usually reduces the HRC by 1 point. So your uncoated blades are going to be 60 or 61, or more likely to be up there and towards 61, and your coated blades are likely to be lower, 60 or 59. I would prefer that everything they do is 60 to 62, but you can't always get what you want, right? It's okay. Good cutting geometry, nice drop point blade, absolutely hand melting, excellent ergonomics. This knife is stupidly comfortable to use and to disengage and manipulate outside of doing the reverse flick. What is the importance of DLC? DLC is a ridiculously tough coating. It was the absolute top dog up until, at least in my book, up until recently. We've had some breakthroughs in technology that have allowed certain coatings to be as durable or even more durable than DLC, which you'll get more information on this channel as I continue to handle these things. But DLC is far superior to PVD or Cerakote, which are also good coatings, but they're nowhere near as scratch resistant as DLC. So DLC is hyper scratch resistant to the point where you can literally take the tip of another knife and try to scratch it and it won't, right? It's not invincible. You could chuck it across concrete and probably get some marks in it, but it's really scratch resistant. And at the same time offers additional corrosion resistant to whatever composition it's on top of. M390 is already stainless, so it's not adding much here, but okay. The satin DLC is awesome because essentially then you remove the drag associated with the chalky DLCs that we're used to from Spyderco. So there's a lot of companies nowadays are doing this satin DLC, and it's awesome. It is pure benefit, no downside, and companies like Ameight and Migron are able to do it without adding any additional, or at least they're just being really cool about it and not charging you extra for it. Some companies will charge you an additional $50 to $100 for this coating. Some of them won't, right? There are additional costs. It just depends on what the company decides they want to make from it. So this is all benefit here. Two things that could make this knife absolutely perfect because it's really, really great. I'm not going to sit here and say that they got, go over every last little tiny detail. It's exactly what you would assume. I'm going to say the same things that I did in the last one. Fit and finish is great. Cutting geometry is great, right? It's all what you want. No blade play, up, down, left to right. No lock stick, no pivot lash, smooth, nice detent. I assume the centering's perfect. Yeah. So no detent lash. I forgot that the original one was S90V. In my opinion, S90V is a superior steel to M390 for the average person. S90V is not as stain resistant as M390, but it is still easily within stainless territory. So this won't affect nearly as many people. especially if it's DLC coated, right? Because then it's just that much more stain resistant. S90V at 59 to 61 will blow the doors off of M390 in terms of edge retention. 59 to 61 is a good range for S90V, where M390 really needs to be 60 to 62. And I would still put that S90V up against M390. Don't you take a big hit in toughness? S90V seems to be pretty similar in terms of toughness to M390. So you lose a little bit of corrosion resistance, and they say that it's supposed to be harder to sharpen. I don't know about you guys, but I've had the same, roughly the equivalent experience with S90V. Sharpening S90V and sharpening M390 where it's at or near optimal HRC. I don't love sharpening either, but the S90V just lasts longer. Like the edge, like that, it's less sharpening. So I have always maintained, or not always actually. There was a long time ago I had a negative opinion on S90V because I think I was working with some ultra hard, like it was too hard and it was really chippy and I just couldn't sharpen it. This was years ago, but I've changed my opinion on S90V. It's become one of my favorite super steels. I love it. I find it superior, absolutely superior to M390. Ameight and Migron, I really wish you guys would go back to S90V. I understand that it's more expensive, and maybe now with the climate of the world, right, the world economy, maybe it's more difficult to get your hands on. Maybe it's a lot more expensive to get your hands on, right? I don't know. Maybe it's just it creates an issue for you. Even if you had to charge an extra 20, 25 bucks, I think people would go for that. This, with a little bit better access to the opening hole for a reverse flick, but in S90V and DLC, oh my goodness, what a winner, right? It's a winner as it is. This is a recommendable knife. I love it. Please keep doing the satin DLC on all of your models. And please, start adding lefty mounting positions for the pocket clips. Make sure if they have a slot that they are easily reverse flickable for people who like to do that. But you really have, a winning combination of things here. And I think this knife in particular, with kind of the dark gray faux bolster, here's part of the frame. This combined with the black, the silver highlights of the hardware, and that copper carbon fiber mask, this knife is as beautiful as it is functional. It's awesome. Might be a little boring to some people, but what a great product. $195 for this bad boy. That is insane for what you're getting here. It's insane that you can get that in 2025. Even against the most aggressive competition, that's still amazing. Really awesome prices. I have talked to the owner of Migron many times, and he has stated over and over again, I want my prices to be better than anybody else's. He's a really nice guy, and they do try really, really hard to make high quality products and deliver what people want and keep the prices low. So while that is a lot of money for a knife, right? You can go buy a knife that's made out of just basic materials for 20, 30 bucks. If you are looking for, the really nice materials and the really good fit and finish, maybe you want some of that DLC, you want some of this cool carbon fiber, it's really hard to find this combination of stuff anywhere else for even 50 bucks more. Like the competition that I can think of that's this as close to this as possible is charging at least 50 bucks more. So yeah, highly recommendable, even with a couple of little quirks here or there, a couple of things that they could improve on. This is an extremely recommendable knife. Pick it up for sure. That's going to be it today, guys. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.